Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV, and it's time for a real in-person interview. Vizsla Silver is on a roadshow here in Frankfurt, and we had the chance to talk to Michael Konnert, the CEO and founder of the company. Michael, good morning. How are you?
Very good, Jochen. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful roadshow. We've got to speak to so many very strong investors, and we've had a great time. So thank you. It's great to be here in person as well.
Super, perfect. Yeah, great to meet you in person also. That's always good. Little bit different than to do all that online stuff, for sure.
Far better.
Absolutely. Super. Yeah, glad you enjoyed the roadshow. I think you saw like 150 investors this week, which is great. Of course, they appreciate the Vizsla story. What's your impression?
It's been a wonderful reception. Many of these people, thanks to Commodity TV and your work, we're familiar with the company. So to meet people in person has just been great. The reception has been fantastic, and we met many shareholders and many people that I think will be soon shareholders as well.
Super, perfect. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm a shareholder too, by the way.
Me as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about your fantastic company.
Yeah.
You have done so far a lot of exploration, 145,000 meters. I think it was last year. You are planning again 120,000 meters. Jesus Christ. Do you want to do Swiss cheese out of that property?
Well, it's a very big property that needs a lot of drilling. And so, last year we did just over 100,000 meters. In the history of the project, there's only been 140,000 meters drilled. Mm-hmm. We're doing over 120,000 this meter. That's 120 kilometers of drilling. It's one of the world's largest exploration programs, certainly the largest for silver.
Mm-hmm. As you have already a beautiful resource of 106 million ounces silver equivalent, so what of the drilling will, let's say, for discovery, what do you think you will do maybe for infill to bring the resource higher and maybe to higher categories?
Yeah, absolutely. So, most of the resources, actually about 50% of the resources on our Napoleon discovery. So we made that discovery, made the discovery about 20 months ago, really only started drilling it about 18 months ago. And in 18 months, we put together an enormous resource on Napoleon, Titos, and two other smaller areas. But the name of the game now is to expand Napoleon and Titos, both along strike and at depth. And what's really interesting about the resource is that all 13 of those resource block model wireframes are all open for expansion. None of them were closed off to drilling. So we have near resource expansion. We've already completed over 30,000 meters since the cutoff. Simply put, Napoleon Titos, this resource is going to get bigger.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what would be your wish target for this year? Because you want to do a resource update, I think, in the second half this year. What would be, let's say, on your wish list?
My wish list, always hard to answer that. But what I would say is that I can expect that we see a very significant increase in the resource. And we're targeting the second half of the year for an updated resource statement. So, I think it could grow quite significantly, whether that's 30%, 40% or more, time will tell. But what I can say is that the drilling that we are doing seems to be very promising in visual inspections on the core, down dip, at depth. I think Napoleon has a huge amount of room to grow. But in addition to that, we've made other discoveries, and there's other areas of the district that can make its way into the resource. So, there's many ways to win in this district. One of the best, things that I've seen recently is that Copala vein discovery. Yeah. We made that blind discovery of a very large flatline structure while we were drilling into the vein at Titos. So this district has never been explored before in the systematic manner that we're doing it. It's full of surprises.
Okay, and hopefully positive surprises.
Always.
I mean, you have now raised the strike length. I think at the beginning it was 300 meters, and today it's like 2,520 meters, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So to what extent do you think you can do that? I mean, that's really a lot.
Well, Napoleon is a very strange vein in the sense that typically what you have in Mexico is a vein that strikes over a certain distance, but for it to all be mineralized like Napoleon, but also have those high grade cores, is really impressive. And so I think that Napoleon certainly grows along strike from that 2.5 kilometer strike zone. And at depth, we've only drilled to about 450 meters. Typically we see these districts in Mexico extending far past that. So again, down dip and along strike, at depth, huge amount of growth potential.
Super, perfect. We have several viewers who were asking us and said, hey, they are now at 260,000 meters, 265,000 meters of drilling. The strike length looks great. So when do you think, or can you ask Michael, what would be a possible production scenario? Are we talking like 2 or 3 years or 4 years from here? What could you imagine? I know it's a forward-looking statement and you cannot give us an exact thing, but maybe an idea.
Well, look, I think the management team and our group here want to move this into production very rapidly. And what makes us different is that we have the infrastructure to do that with the past producing operating infrastructure there, the 30 kilometers of underground workings, the 2 highways that run through the property, the high tension power, access to water, access to an incredible workforce in the area. All of those things are often quite difficult for companies, but they're natural in our habitat there for Vizsla. And we're doing the work actually in the background, engineering studies, flora, fauna studies, geotechnical work, our own internal scoping studies. So yes, we're drilling. We're an exploration story that's creating value through the drill bit, but we're also de-risking the asset in the background, moving it towards production. So, I can't give a date.
No, of course not. That's impossible.
I suspect that it's sooner than people expect.
Super. That's great to hear. I love to see you in production because this world needs your silver, especially for the e-cars and for the solar for sure. Yeah. Yes. But also the gold is for security.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best part about silver. As I said, there's many ways to win with the district, our exploration and moving towards production in Vizsla and our Panuco district. But there's 2 main ways to win with silver, new technologies and safe haven, inflation hedge. So we love silver. We're happy to be finding it.
Super. This costs all a lot of money. I saw in your treasury in the presentation, I think it's $38 million, but I saw also you have 33.5 million warrants from your last 2 big financings you did. So what is the strike price there? When are they due? Because if I got that correct, one is June, one is December. And I mean, if you are lucky, you can easily get like what, 50 million plus, 100 million maybe?
Yeah, it's closer to 100 million. So we expect over 35 million coming from the July 1st expiry warrants. Those strike, they're actually in the money. They strike under 240, I should say. And we also have December expiry warrants that are publicly tradable. They're on the exchange. And those expire, as I said, December, and they strike at about $3.08. Those are bringing about 60 plus million.
Super, and I can imagine that there will be in the money after you brought out your fabulous resource then.
I certainly hope so, and we're pushing towards that.
Exactly, super. Yeah, perfect. That looks all great. What is the burn rate per month? Because how long lasts the money?
Yeah, we have certainly well into the next year of funding right now for our exploration. So we burn between, or spend and invest, I should say, about $1.5 million to $2 million a month in drilling. Now, an interesting metric here is that we find a silver ounce, an ounce in the ground, based on the expenditure of the company. We've been finding that for 23 cents US an ounce.
That's not much.
Very, very good efficiency, capital efficiency at the project. For us to do that, to come up with that global resource of that size in 18 months, and do it at 23 cents an ounce, that shows you that Panuco is what an exploration program looks like that's done well.
Super, perfect. And soon you hopefully will be then in production in addition, and then you can drill also underground. Because that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great, super. Michael, thank you very much for the short update, and safe travels, as I think this is the ending day of the roadshow here today.
Yes.
And all the best, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Michael Konnert with a short update from his roadshow he's doing in Europe. And you heard it, 38 million in the bank, and probably 100 million are coming in by the year end through the exercise of warrants. I mean, that is probably the best financed exploration story I know personally. And as I said, I'm a shareholder in the company. I believe they will be in production within the next probably 2 years. That's my personal guess, of course. That's not what is he saying, but this is my guess. And I think it's a fantastic story with easily 10 to 12 million ounce silver equivalent potential in the production here. And that would really move the valuation in this company, because to our understanding, the stock is way too cheap. So make sure you have a very sharp look at Vizsla Silver. All the best. Thanks and bye-bye today from Frankfurt.